Okay, we are live. Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and welcome to the Manchester United Fallout Show, I guess. Um, what can we say about what really can we say about yesterday's matchup? Well, that has not already been talked about. Really, absolutely everything it needed to be. Absolutely the only way we could have won that match yesterday, and I feel like we deserved it on the whole. You know, I really do. I think that first half we offered a consistent and threatening way to score goals. We managed to exploit Man City's high line. We managed to get in behind Josko Gvardiol several times, and that ultimately was what led to Manchester United goals yesterday. Because Garnacho on the right hand side, staying wide, getting in behind Gvardiol, and he had a pretty poor match. And all season long, he's been a very important player for City, but yesterday, it wasn't his best match, and really that was to our benefit because, well and truly, we won that match yesterday, and we played it the only way that we could have won in that game overall. That was the only way we could have beat City, and we went out and did it. So fair play to the players. Big ups to Erik Ten Hag as well. I think he got his selections absolutely right. I think he got his choices, his tactics, and the lineup pretty much perfect. Now, I really wouldn't have too much criticism of Erik Ten Hag yesterday, but I guess this is going to make us move on to the future, move on to what comes next. I guess that's where we are now. We're going off for summer break now. We've got European Championships coming up. We've got a big transfer window coming up, and there's big decisions to be made. Now, last week we reported on the show that it looked like Ten Hag was going to be sacked. It does look like the Guardian jumped early. Now, Jacob Steinberg is a very good journalist, very reliable journalist, but he did go early on this story. You know, no mistake about it. I think the point of view that we are at right now is that Erik Ten Hag is on a 1 week break. He is taking a holiday at the moment. The players are all off, many of them in Monte Carlo for the F1 today as well, I think. So I'm sure they're all enjoying a well-earned break after yesterday's performance. But what is Ineos doing right now? What is Radcliffe thinking of right now? What is Brailsford, Blanc, Barada, Jason Wilcox? If Dan Ashworth's involved informally, he's involved informally. But what are they doing right now? Well, I guess looking at what we're seeing from David Ornstein from The Athletic, who I would put as our gold standard for United news, and in terms of the actual scenario, it does look like we're going through a review period. And the review period basically is we're going to look at Erik Ten Hag, because this is the simple truth of the situation. Right now, we are in a position where we're going into a rebuild. We're going into a new era at Manchester United, and ultimately, and this has been reported by a lot of good sources, by a lot of good journalists, and a lot of people close to the club, one of the most important things is that this is a 3-year project, okay? This is how Ineos are looking at it. They're looking at it as a 3-year progression. To give Erik Ten Hag a season to see how it goes next year, that doesn't really achieve anything, because if it goes wrong, then we have to start a 3-year process all over again with a new coach, and we have to start over again. So the position that we are in right now is that Erik Ten Hag is either going to lose his job, or he will be handed a new 2-year deal, taking him up to another 3-year contract. And that's the position that we are in. It's not, should Erik Ten Hag be kept on for another season? It's not, do we give it until Christmas and see what happens? It's going to be a case that we're going to be saying 3 years, yes or no. Do we give Erik Ten Hag that deal? Do we give him that contract? Does he accept the limiting of his powers at the club? Is that what's going to happen? I'm not too sure. And I think it's interesting because from his dialogue, from what we've seen in interviews with him, from what we've seen in his comments to the media, his comments to Dutch journalism, it does look like he is planning to be there next season, and he hasn't given indication that he feels like he's going to be losing his job. He says that Ineos have told him they want to build with him for the future. Now, whether or not this is going to be the case, I'm not too sure. We're going to find out within the next week or so, I think. And I'm glad that we haven't made an immediate decision regardless of what's happened. And the reason I say that there is whenever we look at it, we could have very easily went for the Louis van Gaal situation yesterday, where Erik Ten Hag lifts the trophy and then is told on the way down the stairs he's lost his job. That's basically what happened with Van Gaal. I'm glad that we've not done that. I'm glad we have at least set some time between our decision and the announcement, and we can enjoy the moment. And I think that's important, because make no mistake about it, this has been a pretty dreadful season. This has been a very, very, very poor season. And yes, spectacular end, absolutely fantastic. And like, my voice is still sore from shouting in the pub yesterday, enjoying the match. And I'm sure that we're all going to be looking forward to it now as well. We've got the Community Shield coming up in August. That will be another match at Wembley, another appearance, maybe a way to kick-start a new season. We, of course, will be playing Europa League football next season. So we've gone from no European football to Europa League football and the FA Cup. It's not not ideal. It's not what we wanted. I'm sure we all wanted to, at the very least, be in Champions League contention next season, but we're not going to get there. So it's a question of what are Ineos going to do at this moment in time. And reading into it, it does look like we've got a week-long review. They're going to look at this season, they're going to look at last season, and they're going to look ahead. Because it's not as simple as going for Erik Ten Hag saying, let's give Erik Ten Hag to Christmas and see what happens. Let's give him until next year and see what happens. If we do that and it goes wrong, then you've got to start this all over again. And it's going to be another 3-year deal. It's going to be another 3-year extension. So we have to start now. And whether or not it's going to be Ten Hag going, or staying, it's kind of irrelevant at this moment in time because this review is going on. I'm very positive they will already have made their mind up. There's no way that they're going to change it regardless of what happened in yesterday's FA Cup final. For me, if you look at it on the whole and you look at it from that point of view, that Erik Ten Hag won the cup yesterday and deserves to stay. By the same logic, if we lost the cup yesterday, then we would be saying he has to go. So it's not going to come down to a one-off match. It's going to come down to the season as a whole. It's going to come down to the 2 years as a whole as well. And they'll look forward and they'll say, look, is Erik Ten Hag going to be the man for us for the next 3 years? Because that's what the question is. It's not do we keep him for now, it's do we keep him for 3 years? Do we give him an extension to his contract? And that's what Ineos will have to decide this week, and that's what we're going to have to do. And we'll have to move pretty quickly on it as well. I've just knocked my mic everywhere. Apologies for that if there was a bad noise. Bart is down there. Hi, Stefan. What's my take on Ten Hag's batting response to the question of the press? Joe, I'm glad he did. I'm glad he came out firing, and it's kind of a side of him that I do want to see. And you know, on MUTV yesterday, he said after Crystal Palace, in all fairness, it was absolutely shit. And you know, that's what I want to say. I wouldn't mind a bit of honesty. You know, we know that he's not going to come out and publicly bash us and bash the players and bash the team, but you know, a little bit more honesty. Sometimes saying, yeah, we played well, even though we've lost 4-0 to Palace or 3-0 at home to Bournemouth. You know, these aren't that's not what we want to hear as well. But in my point of view, I'm glad he came out swinging yesterday. I'm glad he came out defiant. He seemed to have had a little bit of a spark, a little bit of a kick, and he went out there with that mindset that he would go after Alan Shearer on the BBC side, that he would have digs at the ITV commentary, that he would say that people had him sacked before the match started. But I guess moving forward, it's going to be very interesting to see where we go from this point, because as I said before, this is now coming into a 3-year period. It's going to be a 3-year rebuild. It's going to be a 3-year getting this team from where it is now to where it should be. Because yesterday was great, and we have some real good players for the future. You look at Garnacho, you look at Hoyland, you look at Manu. 3 good players there who can be here for the next 5 or 6 years. You look across the team, you've got other players who will be part of this team going forward. Bruno Fernandes. You look at probably Diogo Dallo as well. Onana won't be going anywhere. Martinez, as long as he stays fit, I think will be a key part of our team moving forward. And you have a core of players there, maybe 5-6 players you would confidently say we could keep for the next couple of years. Everyone else, apart from that, you know, there's big question marks. A lot will go, a lot will end up losing their places, etc. But at the crux of it, we do have 5 or 6 players I'd say we can build a squad around, or who should be part of the squad going forward. I guess, you know, from that point of view, we also have to look at the manager in the same light. But I want to know what you guys are thinking as well. Bart is down there. I'll give United a C grade. They lost Leeds for 27 games, Shaw for 26, Hoyland for 9, Varane for 14, and Mane for 12. Batham is on there. Do they still play the anthem? She said Batito in Portugal? No, I don't think so, buddy. Hasley says, Ten Hag an apology. He proved many of us wrong. He did prove... You know, he proved some of us wrong. I will absolutely say that. But I was actually talking to Batham before we went on here, and you know, I agree with what he was saying here. Why haven't we tried this strategy, these tactics that we did yesterday that worked well throughout the rest of the season? Why did we persist with trying to get Casemiro to man mark Michael Elise at Selhurst Park? Why did we line up in this way when we could have been more pragmatic? And I feel like that's kind of an approach that we've been calling about at some point. Bad Time says Tommy Tuchel in it. I mean, it might be. It could be McKenna. It could be Tuchel. It could be anybody. Now we keep us under 2 trophies in 2 years. Could still be the case that he's not the right man for the job, but he's earned the right to have a crack of the whip under Ineos. Joe, I would agree with the sentiment. I think we also got to look at it from the point of view that in the long run, it's going to be it's a 3-year deal. It's a 3-year prospect. That's what they're looking at from the Ineos side. So is Ten Hag the right man, not for next season, but for the next 3 years? You know, that's a question we have to be asking ourselves, because that's ideally what you go with. And ideally, Ineos have the plan that they're going to stick with their next manager for 3 years. So whether it is Erik Ten Hag, whether it's Kieran McKenna, whether it's Thomas Tuchel, Pochettino, Graham Potter, Big Sam, doesn't matter who it is, they're going to stick with him for the next 3 years. Bad Time said, completely lost me watching that match. He set us up like an open barn all season, and then look what happens when we get men behind the ball and defend a little bit deeper. Yeah, it's one of those. It's like, we tried to do this last season and it went very wrong against Brighton. It went very, very wrong against Brentford. And, we changed it up. We went more pragmatic. We played with a deeper line and it worked. I've concerns that the only way for us to get things done is to still revert back to that after 2 years in the prospect. Ideally, the injuries haven't helped, as Bart has correctly pointed out, but there are core fundamentals wrong in our team, because that's not how we want to play. We want to be aggressive on the front foot. We want to press high. We want to play with a high line. But yet the press is all over the place. We don't commit the fullbacks to the press. The midfield is as open as anything you will find. There's a lot of pluses, a lot of negatives. And as good as yesterday's match was, we do also have to look at it from the point of view that 8th place in the Premier League, minus goal difference, worst performance of any English team in the history of the Champions League as well. These are all true. These are all in the same season. It's never a simple thing with Manchester United. It's never just a straight linear answer. It's always ups and downs, twists and turns. I don't know though. Rajat, good to see you, buddy. What's up? Get crap WB gone. Then getting the owners' kips come in, they tend to get their own manager. We don't know. Yeah, that's also true. They might say, we want a pure coach. Moving forward, transfers are going to be done by committee. It's going to be done by scouts and directors of football. Contracts will be done by the same. The manager's job will be to coach. It will be the it will be their responsibility to coach the team on the pitch and get the most out of it. I don't know though. Bart is on there. Ineos need to really think long term. United have 3 Champions Leagues in 70 years. In order to match Liverpool's haul, United need at least 70 years at worst. Rajat, what is it, Bart? Worst campaign by a British club, not just English. Oh, there we have it. So even like Celtic or Rangers have probably done better. Batham is on there, more concerned about the leagues. Yeah, look, I would be concerned as well about that. We always say this here. It's the league position doesn't lie. The league position shows exactly where you are as a football club. Cup competitions, even Champions League, as hard as it is to win it, is not always won by the best team in the tournament or the best team in Europe. Sometimes things will go against you in a one-off match or across the 2 legs. Sometimes you can have a bad performance and just not be able to catch it up. It's one of those. I don't think this current Real Madrid team is the best in Europe, but I think they'll win the Champions League. Chelsea weren't the best team in Europe when they won the Champions League last time. You look back across history, Liverpool 05 in Istanbul, far from the best team in Europe that year. And the same will go for cups. United's not the best team in England, or United's not the second best team in England because we won the FA Cup. The league position does show where we are, and at the minute we're a long, long way off. Now, different factors play into different individual matches, of course they do, and injuries and whatnot will all feed into it. But it's difficult. It's difficult to say, really. Luman is down there. How come Amrabat playing so good in the last 5? Surely he wasn't properly used by Ten Hag, and it was his loan signing. Amrabat's had a stop-start season with injuries and whatnot, and I still have question marks about the guy's ability to be a Manchester United player. I don't think we're going to sign him. I don't think we should, but I think what he is he is a complementary profile. He's a very complementary profile to what we get out of Manu and Bruno, and it shows me that has to be one of the top signings in the upcoming window. Somebody who can come in, do that job, sit in midfield, hold down the fort, win the tackles, win a lot of duels, especially in the air as well, and allow the better players in Manu and in Bruno to go and play their game as well. That's what we need as much as anything. We need an enabling player in the middle of the pitch, and I think you got a better. We've had a better luck with it and a better run of it with Amrabat than we have with Casemiro in recent weeks and months. But I don't think that Amrabat's a long-term guy either. That's just my thoughts. Rajat said we want to win at least 2 Champions League. Yeah, we want to win more, man. Of course we do. Batham said City are by far and away the best in the world and have been knocked out of the last 2 major cups. I want to see us increase the points total instead of worrying about cup runs like we're Tottenham. Exactly. It's one of those. you want to get it done in the league. And I'm seeing people saying, "Oh, United had a better season this year than Arsenal, and a better season than Liverpool, and we had a better season than Arsenal last year." But we didn't really, because the progression wasn't really there. We got third place last year. We won a trophy. Okay, maybe you can say finishing third in a trophy is better than finishing second and no trophy. That's maybe an argument you can make. But when you finish eighth place in the league, you are there for a reason. And it's one of those. We pushed our luck at times in the FA Cup this season. Ultimately, I think we deserve to win it. I think we were the better team yesterday, and I think if you're out here and you beat both Liverpool and Man City on the way to the FA Cup, you're entitled to go out there and win that. There, absolutely you are. But to me, I do think that the league position's a more concerning influence on the overall well-being of our team, of our squad, and of the club as well. Now, Bart said United need at least 10 players to leave and some major surgery. Players to push mind on Garnacho. Yeah, I would agree. I don't think you got a Lingard case um, with those players, Bart. I do think that their ceiling is a lot higher. Their ability right now is a lot higher as well. But we just got to keep building upon it. I do agree we need a lot of players to go. I think this is going to be a 2 to 3 year project where we really shape and build a complementary squad, a competent squad, and a squad who can be available, fit, and ready. I think that has to be some of the more important attributes that we'll be looking at. And I will be doing some videos on this during the week. I've got a couple actually I've wrote down about the kind of players I want to see, about the positions and stuff I think that we need to sign. I think really we've got to be looking internally, because we could have got a lot more out of the squad than what we've had. Yesterday a big part of why we did well was because we played deeper. We had our first two choice centre halves on with Varane and Martinez, and we defended our box well, and that was exactly what we needed to do against Man City. But we can't go out there next season and play Crystal Palace at Old Trafford and do the same, or we can't go out there and play Fulham or Craven Cottage and play like that as well. We want to go out there and be more pragmatic and be more dominant on the pitch, and really start to implement a style of play that we want to see. But I do think across the board it's been a very interesting season. I would love to know what you guys think. If you want to get your season grades done there as well. I went for grades just because on a poll I only have the option to put 4 in there, so I couldn't really say rate it between 1 and 10. So let me know your thoughts on that one. Give it a grade as if we are in school. Big ups to RD United TV. Hi to you. We had a better season than Liverpool, and next season will probably be Arsenal versus City, as Liverpool will fall away after the Klopp departure. They might do. I mean, they could do. We're gonna see though. In terms of what happens across the board. With that one. Bad Time said Wilcox's biggest red flag is his playing career. I don't really care what he's like as a player, as long as he's good as a technical director. That's what I care about. What has Bart said? Want to keep Sofian if he's on a free. United aren't really to get any other centre mids in. Also, does Wilcox have red flags? Oh, we're talking about that. Yeah. That's okay. That's okay. RD said we're also better without Hoyland starting. So I think we've not really played that guy's strengths either. I know that there's question marks about him. I would like to see him be more aggressive, use his frame and stuff, but I don't think as a hold-up player it's his natural style of play. And I think the goals you've seen him score in the last couple of matches against Brighton, against who was it before Brighton? Was it Newcastle? Yeah, against Newcastle. Those goals are kind of what he's good at. He's good at getting his head down. He's good at driving with it. He's good running on the ball. Does feel like maybe he's been misprofiled at times this season as well. Already, jokes aside, regarding the best season, Arsenal fans would take the FA Cup instead of going close in the league. Yeah, but they would. And Joe, you can say winning a trophy is, absolutely a great thing, and it is. I'm very happy we won that trophy, but I think to be in Arsenal's position, a team that's got 85 points in the league this season, they're in a better place than us to go on next season and try to win something. At this rate of going, Arsenal will win a big trophy before Manchester United do. So it's going to be up for us to improve upon that. I don't want to be a cup team that just tries to win a trophy or two and then not really get the kind of progression we need. We want to build upon it, and I think points totals are really important. I think when we look at our league position this year, let me just quickly pull it up, because I think we got about 60 points, all things considered. I think that's what we got. I would want to see an improvement there next season. Let me see. United, we finished 8th in the league, right? We finished 8th in the league, and what was our point, Sally? 1 second, guys. 60 points. 60 points we got in the Premier League this season. I think minimum expectation is that we should be trying to improve. I think you can improve 10 points next season. I think it's a lot easier to go from 60 points to 70 points than it is to go from Arsenal's 89 points to City's 91 points. That's an easier position to improve from. So Arsenal will have to improve, of course, but what United really need to do is go out there next season and just try to keep picking up points, just keep trying to progress as a team. I want to see better fundamentals on the pitch, regardless of who's in charge. I want to see a better press, a more organised team, and I want to see a team that's going to score more goals as well. Open up teams, make more chances, have more systematic chance creation. You watch Arsenal. How many times does Bukayo Saka find himself in the penalty box on his left foot in an area where he can get a shot off a goal? On the same side, of course, then you'll have Martinelli on the same hand getting those shots off on his right foot. Trossard getting those shots off on his right foot. Kai Havertz will pop up in the same positions. That's what I want to see as well. I want to see us be able to systematically create opportunities and for it to be sustainable. Because even yesterday was fantastic, but a lot of it was kind of like all or nothing football, and we've been a little bit guilty of doing that. We're not sustaining attacks, we're not holding teams within their own half of the pitch, and we're not really pressuring teams. If the final ball doesn't come off United, attack breaks down, we've got to run back, we've got to start covering. These are things that we want to be improving upon. These are things we want to work upon. Let me see. What have I got? Loads of comments. Let me go through some of these ones. Bad time, 97 points, came second. Blackburn leads. Captain for City. Already said, jokes aside, most Arsenal fans saying that. Sorry. Jarl said, I would not say getting Europa Leagues over Champions League is better. Sorry, night and day there. The top 4 teams are better season than us. Yeah, I mean, I think on the whole, yeah, I think we've had maybe better moments, but they've had a higher ceiling. We're up and down. We're there more of a constant trajectory and a constant improvement across the season. Bath Time says, being hammered with family and watching us beat the best team in the world was better than top 4 for me personally. Yeah, true. I mean, look, yesterday was fantastic, but it could have been a lot better if we finished in the top 4 and won the cup. That could have been a much better season, all things considered. Bart is down there. What is he saying? Bournemouth didn't have a better season than United. That's not how it works, buddy. Rajat, good that Leeds are not getting promoted. I'm sad, man, because that's 6 points we've lost out on next season already. I'm telling us we need to improve by 10 points across the year. Guys, drop a like on the video if you can. Would be much appreciated. And as well, big ups to the people who've been hitting that sub button recently as well. Up to 2,190 as well. Big ups for that there one. Maybe we'll try hit 3K by the end of the year. Anyway, that time goals are becoming easier to get in the league. Everyone's scoring loads. Focus on Arsenal and City before goals. Yeah, I mean, I think we just got to improve at either end of the pitch. We didn't really do that either, What have we got? If we look at it, goals against 58, yeah, you want to improve upon that, absolutely, but only scoring 57, it's not good either. The next lowest team in us to score 57 goals was Crystal Palace. Brighton scored more than us. Bournemouth one less than us. Fulham scored more, Luton Town only scoring 5 less goals than us. Yeah, defense very important. We don't want to be conceding goals. We've got to get that number up. 57 goals, not enough in the league for me as well. Anyways, who have I got down below? Rich still thinking about to give it to AM last night, and that beats crying about running City close. Probably does, but nobody's going to look back from the Arsenal camp and go like, yeah, we finished 89 points. Remember that season? In the same way, whenever Liverpool got like 97 points and didn't win the league, like they didn't get a special medal, just saying 97 points. It's one of those. We want a trophy. It's very good to win a trophy, but I want to see us build upon this now. And I think it's a good way to cap the season off. It's a good way to progress in that sense, and hopefully this can be the start of something bigger for the team. Hopefully with the new ownership coming in, a much better transfer window in terms of recruitment, in terms of players going. We need to address the coaching situation. We need to see what's happening with Erik Ten Hag. Where does we go from here? Because look, like I said earlier on the show, for anyone who did miss it, really into it, reading from what I can pick up, Ineos are in the position now where they don't want to keep Erik Ten Hag for one season. They don't want to keep him until Christmas to see how it goes. They're looking for long-term stability with a coach, someone who will be able to coach and progress the team over a number of years. So the question is not, do we give Erik Ten Hag one more season? The question is not, do we give Erik Ten Hag until Christmas to see how it goes, like you might see from some other channels. That's not how we're going to work this. This is not how we should be working this. The way we are going to work this, the way Ineos are going to work this, is that they're going to take a view of it that it's going to take 3 years. 3 years is their target window. That is what they're looking to see. A 3-year building process to build a team that can go from 8th position in the league to a team that can go to 1st. That's what we got. 3 years to do that. And if you're going to have Erik Ten Hag, you don't have him for 1 year. If we only have Ten Hag for one season, sack him at the end of next season, then you're looking at another 3 years potentially. You're setting yourself back a year, and we can't afford to do that. We don't want to do that. So let's see what we're going to do. The only way I can see this working, the only thing I can see us doing at this moment in time, is to go and say a 3-year deal to Erik Ten Hag. Do you give it to him right now and keep him for the foreseeable future, or do you move on, say thank you very much for the FA Cup? Let's just say it. That's what it's got to be about. Anyway. Rajad, Sir Alex Ferguson won 2 cups in the first 2 years. Not at United, no. It took a while to get that first FA Cup. Bart said maybe United try to get Lee Grant as the striker coach. Ipswich scored more goals than anyone else in the top 4. Ipswich has scored a lot of goals. They're a well coached team, very flexible as well. What have I got as well? Seeing that Batham said might do a Rats review tomorrow at 9ish. Don't want to come on and talk about the minimum width. Maybe I'll give you a shout about that, but I'll see what I'm doing tomorrow. Bart said, did you like Ten Hag's interview with the ITV crowd? He was a little bit less blunt and showed more personality. Yeah, I've been watching those personally, and some of the quotes are quite interesting. I'm glad that he did come out firing a little bit. It's more fire than what we've seen at times this season, where it looks like he's just kind of been accepting of the mediocrity, or accepting of the bad performances. Bart said, does it worry you that Ineos went through 7 managers in 4 seasons at Nice? No, it doesn't really. That doesn't really worry me at this moment in time. And the reason I say this is because Ineos have learned a lot of lessons at Nice, in terms of stability, in terms of progressing a team, in terms of building a team, and that's what they've managed to do at Nice. That team's a lot better now than what it was last year. They've learned the lessons, bring footballing people in, give them the power, and give them the empowerment and responsibility to go out there and really affect change at the club. Have some interesting stories to bring you guys from Revelo, a Spanish outlet closely linked to Real Madrid and former Real Madrid players. Saudi Arabia will push for Casemiro, but he has not decided anything. Al Nasser would like him to play alongside Cristiano Ronaldo again. Ronaldo is apparently pushing for the move on that side. Casemiro also recognises his camp that his future would be in Arabia. He will listen to United's plans before making any decision. Can't make, I really can't make any arguments against that there. I think that's a smart idea, because there was potentially talk about getting something like £20 million for Casemiro and clearing those wages off, which would be very good business for us at this moment in time. According to Jim Stucker, very reliable journalist, he says United are prioritising the recruitment of a centre-back, a defensive midfielder, a striker, and possibly a right-back in this upcoming window. They're hoping to find buyers for a number of players, including Casemiro, and are prepared to listen to offers for the majority of the squad, bar young talents such as Kobe Manu, Alejandro Garnacho, Rasmus Højlund, and key players Marcus Rashford, Bruno Fernandes, among others. So I can't really argue too much about that. We're going to be going in the transfer window very, very soon. This is what it's all going to be talking about at this moment in time. But I want to go through what Ducker's been saying about the manager. Hopefully this will shed some further light upon what we have been saying on tonight's show. So, Manchester United have held discussions with representatives of Thomas Frank and Mauricio Pochettino. They are exploring their options ahead of their final decision on Erik Ten Hag. Ten Hag has went on holiday on Sunday. He is at serious risk of being sacked despite leading United to a second trophy in 2 seasons, with Saturday's FA Cup over Manchester City. Chelsea are also known admirers of McKenna and Frank. Both men are on the West London's 4-man shortlist as they're looking for a replacement for Pochettino. But Kieran McKenna has additionally strong interest from Brighton, and they're looking for a replacement for De Zerbi, who is thought to be sitting tight and waiting to see what future unfolds. So, very interesting on that there one. We're going to find out in the next week or so, I would say, once this strategic review takes place. I imagine a decision has already been made, because if they were going to keep Erik Ten Hag and they decided to sack him if we lost yesterday, that wouldn't be a good way to run your club. On the same hand, if they were going to sack him and decided to keep him based on yesterday's, that's not a good way to run the club either. You know, a one-off match shouldn't be the determining factor on who leads Manchester United forward for the next 3 years. It really shouldn't be. Anyway, to go back on this one and a couple more things I did want to bring you guys as well. I think we're looking for some quotes here about from Erik Ten Hag. Let me just see if I can find these here. Yeah, here we go. So Ten Hag, over the last month, Johnny Evans said over the last month, Eric has shown incredible tactical flexibility to set off and counter attacks. Not the sort of style he probably sees himself coaching, but he's able to do it. He's been amazing for me this season, bringing me back in, showing a lot of belief and playing me. So I've always only got good things to say about him. But I think the real interest does come from what Erik Ten Hag directly has been saying over the last couple of hours, the last couple of days as well. Don't know why the quotes aren't there, but the ITV one was kind of interesting because when we were going through it, he was kind of throwing some shade towards the likes of Roy Keane and stuff, while it's also being a little bit more diplomatic. Rajat said the speed meets United players kind of, yeah, I don't know how that happened, man. Bart said, are they waiting on Ashworth? No, it'll be too long if Ashworth is being waited. Did Amonde make his own YouTube channel? I don't know if Amonde has his own channel. I know he's got like a TikTok. I've seen him on there before. Let me see. I've seen that there, Rajat. Do they have to give him extension of this, or can they wait for an extension? I'm not too sure about the contractual obligations and the contractual law around this. You know, that's not what I specialize in whatsoever. But to me, I think it would be a statement of intent to give a 2-year deal if that's what they're going to do, a 2-year extension. Raja, Batham, you see McTominay and Rasmus acting like drunk frat boys while everybody's relatively sober. Yeah, I seen it. Gani, big ups to you, buddy. United don't need a winning manager. We need team progression, player improvement, and giving more youth a chance. Erik Ten Hag has spent bad. I would agree. I would agree with that. I think we don't need a manager. I think what we need is a coach, and we need someone to develop the players here and develop the players who will come in. We're going to have a transfer committee. We're going to have directors of football, technical directors, CEOs. We're going to have a lot of qualified people making the big calls for our football club. What our coach should be doing is getting the most out of the team on the pitch every single week, every single day in training, working towards building a better system, a more flexible team, a team that can attack and defend and score goals, keep goals out as well, minimize risks, maximize threats. That's what we have to be looking at. And that's what we need more than ever at this moment in time. So if it is Ten Hag, let's see what happens in that front. You know, I don't want to see our manager anymore to be involved in contracts or sagas on the pitch or sagas off the pitch. You know, I want it to be handled by someone within the club. I don't want to see United try to replace the irreplaceable in Sir Alex Ferguson by looking towards a modern coaching, the modern day pool of coaches and stuff, because most coaches in this day and age do not have experience with running a club by themselves, let alone one the size of Manchester United. You know, there's no ifs, buts, or maybes about that. You know, there is no manager out there who has managed solely a club of the size of Manchester United. Even Pep Guardiola does not deal with a lot of the things off the pitch for Man City. He does have some say in transfers, of course, but a lot of it's done by committee, by directors of football, by CEOs. You know, these are intangibles that even the best managers focus on smaller areas. They niche down within the club, and I think that's what we have to be doing, you know, across the board. And I do think Erik Ten Hag probably would have had less control and less overarching running of Manchester United if we had a more competent board, if we had a more progressive director of football who actually knew what they were doing, you know, a CEO who wanted to do the best for the club. You know, I feel like we would have done that a lot more. But it's an interesting conversation anyway. Guys, I got 51 votes on today's poll as well. 19% said the grade for the season is an A. Fair enough. Very positive people out there. 27 for B, 40% are saying C, 13% are saying D. I would say probably around a C. I think if we didn't win something, I think if we lost yesterday, you know, you'd be looking at a lower rated season, to be honest with you guys. Guys, hit the sub button if you haven't already. Plenty of content coming up over the next couple of months. Make sure to join in for all that. Drop a like if you haven't already. I've got some thoughts coming in. Bart, Henry Winter says he wants Pochettino. I'm not too sure. Who is he? Bad time said McTominay always gets hammered after a trophy. Yeah, it's true. Gotta be enjoying it. Lucky Sting is down there. Make me go back to Arsenal to win trophies. Bart said company is worse than Solskjaer. I'm surprised Bayern went for him. Yeah, I'm surprised too. Bayern seem to be in a real mess at the minute. McTominay and the exploiting playing for United wouldn't expect a good Euros. Yeah, I don't know what happened to him yesterday. He went off injured, of course. What have we got? Amanda doesn't have the tech skills to make his head, let alone a YouTube channel. What have we got? Batham. Wait, this is true. Arteta and Rashford are talking to each other. Arsenal would have 150 million to spend. I mean, yeah, they'll have a big budget. Back-to-back Champions League years. They've been spending a lot of money recently anyway. Anyway, Rajat says the work he's done with Barada Mansour. Yes, exactly. Lucky wants Ten Hag to be here. Jarl says, sounds like Sam Williams has become the new head of recruitment. He comes from Ipswich. I think that's his name. I heard Alice mention it. Yeah, Sam Williams has come from Ipswich, but I believe it is head of... It's not quite head of recruitment. I think some people are maybe getting that a little bit confused, but it's not quite head of recruitment. It's head of recruitment for essentially not academy buys, but young development. I think that's what the title is. It's like head of elite young development and recruitment. So basically people who might come into your academies or who might come into the first team. So you're looking at kind of your players in the 18 to 21 age range. Maybe that's what he's going to be looking at. But it's good to be bringing people in who know what they're doing. The academy has done very well this season across the board. Nick Cox has done a really good job running Manchester United's academy. And I'm glad to see it. Yesterday was a fine example of what our football club should be all about. It was won. The FA Cup was won by two academy prospects in Garnacho and Kobe Mainu. The first time a teenager had scored in the FA Cup final, I think, since Ronaldo or something, they said. And then that was Garnacho, and then the next one was Mainu about 10 minutes later. So, that's what this club's built upon. And that's what we have to be continually getting involved with. One second there, guys. Yep, thanks very much for bearing with me. Y'all said we have a head of youth recruitment and a head of senior recruitment. I haven't seen too much talked about the head of recruitment for the senior team at the minute. There was a lot of talk about Paul Mitchell at a certain point, but it did look like he wanted the big job of director of football, and we opted instead to go for Dan Ashworth. Now, whether or not Mitchell was offered a head of recruitment role at United and turned it down because he didn't want to take the perceived step down in career where he was director of football at Monaco to come and do what would be a technically lesser role, I don't know. Bart said, I forgot to thank Stefan for introducing me to a few new United talents on the platform. I'm currently trying to get blocked. Hopefully I can get it done before the season starts. Don't worry, Bart. I'm sure you will, buddy. I'm sure you will. Anyway, guys, thanks very much for the likes. We're up to 20 as well, guys. Hit the sub button if you haven't already. And let's go through some of the other stories of today, shall we? Obviously, look, the big one. Yes, FA Cup winners, FA Cup champions of the world. And we get to take part in the most prestigious tournament in world football as well. That is the Community Shield final, and that will be coming up very soon in August. Be here before you know it. But we do have an interesting little deal in the last couple of minutes. Our first seal of the transfer window has been done, and it's official. Alvaro Fernandez has joined Benfica on a permanent deal, and that is for around 6 million. A little bit low. But, there's better quality left-backs coming in to Manchester United. We've got Harry Amas coming through the ranks. Very promising young fullback. And it'll be exciting to see his development across the season. I think you would want to have got more than 6 million for Alvaro Fernandez. But it is what it is. It's more money in the transfer kitty, I guess. And so long as we're not going and selling academy players for €1 million like we did last summer, I'll be a little bit happier. But we got to add this here. Bad Time says we got far too many left backs. Great seal. I mean, we got a lot of left backs, but none of them are ever available. We got Shaw, always injured. We got Malacia. We seen him yesterday. And that was about it from Tyrell Malacia this season. And we've not seen fullbacks at all on that left hand side for United, and I feel like that's been a bit of a stifling factor on our season as a whole. Not having that balance. But Alvaro Fernandez left the club, so €6 million. It's probably going to go all into profit because of him being an academy player. Not surprised about that. I think there might have been something else as well. Looks like Conte is going to Napoli. Can't be surprised. They finished with 43 points from a title defense year. That's kind of embarrassing. Um, to be honest. But yeah, Alvaro Fernandez, first of many probably to leave in this upcoming window. Hopefully the sales figures are good and hopefully we can get plenty of money in to try boost up our own budget as well. Jarl said the sell-on clause and there's also a buyback clause as well. Good to hear that as well. Bart said he's still got 15 million. I don't think so. He's just not got the experience really at this moment. Bart, one Palace, one Ipswich, one West Ham in the last month, trying to get blocked by a Villa fan channel. Fair play, man. Would I take Danny Ceballos on a free deal? I don't know. Look, I was talking to some friends earlier. I think what we need is that defensive midfielder to come in and replace Casemiro and probably be an upgrade in Amrabat. But I do think maybe you could look towards bringing a second midfielder in. If you can get someone in who can maybe be a backup to your new DM coming in and cover for Kobbie Mainoo as well, because I don't want to see Kobbie get burnt out. I think he will be first choice going forward, but I don't want to see him get overexposed and just run into the ground. So I would like some more midfield bodies brought in that point of view. And I think we will be moving a lot of midfielders on, because I think Casemiro will go. I think Amrabat will be left go back to Fiorentina, and I think Eriksen goes. So that's three gone. That's three gone there. Rajat going to Paris for the Trophy de France. And Champs win. Lucky you want to see Xerxes, Tadibo, Ross Barkley, and Rabiot signed in the upcoming window. Gani said, really sad to see Alvaro go. I really believe there's a big talent there. Another feel from Ten Hag not developing talent. I think there's a talent there. I just don't think he's had the first team minutes and enough experience at senior football to really show what he's all about. He looked pretty good at Preston, but you want to see a step up from him as well from that season. Didn't quite get it when he was at Granada this year, and ultimately Benfica have chose to sign him, and they wouldn't have signed him for no reason. They see the talent in him. They've also been working with him close day-to-day basis, and they've decided to pull the trigger. €6 million. It's a sale. It's the first of the summer, and let's hope we get a lot more in the coming weeks and months. I want to see a nice fast dealings in these transfer windows. I want to see us moving quickly to get as much business done before we start off the European Championships. Bart said expect some Rashford to have a big summer. Yeah, I mean, if he's not going to Euros, I want to see him get focused. I want to see him get fit, and I want to see him get sharp and have a good pre-season. Jarl said I think Amrabat will be signed. I just think we can get better players out there for that price, but I don't know if we're going to sign Amrabat, to be honest, but we'll find out. We'll find out. I'm glad he played pretty well yesterday because we needed it. Lucky says Casemiro, Varane, Lindelof, Sancho, Greenwood, and will all be sold. Yeah, I think so. Didn't Barkley go to Villa? Did he go back to Villa? I'm pretty sure he's leaving on Luton, but I don't know if he's gone yet. Look, guys, thanks so much for joining in tonight. Really appreciate all the support and everyone tuning in. I'm going to have to drop off a little bit earlier here, so thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a good Sunday. Big ups United as well for winning that FA Cup, making all our bank holiday weekends. And yeah, guys, I'll get talking to you all very, very soon, promise.